Let us salute Parabrahma Paramatma. Let us salute the Lord and in all his forms. Salutations to the Guru Parampara, Guru Tattva, Swaguru and our Acharyas. Salutations to Shruti Smriti Purana, Itihasa Santavangmaya Rupa, Jnana Avatara Rupa, Bhagavan. Especially salutations to Bhagavan Vyasa, Bhagavan Krishna, Mother Gita today because Gita Jayanti. Of course, the Ekadashi starts at 9:37 a.m. Till that it is Dashami, but it is a day of Gita Jayanti. One can spend time in doing the Gita Adhenam, Mananam, Chintanam, Parayanam, whatever it is possible. Salutations, welcome to you all, wonderful dear seekers of the truth, students of the Shastras, then mumukshus as well as the devotees of Bhagavan and the Guru Parampara. Good, through this means we are becoming a cause, even at least very less, it doesn't matter, for the re-establishment of the moksha marga given to us by our Sanatana Dharma, parampara of the Shastra Adhenam. It's a good fulfillment. Good for us also that we are also getting the information, knowledge, inspiration, and that silsila, the parampara is continuing. Let us keep it up. Many other works, many other involvements tempt us, but let us be wise to recognize that among all of them, this is the noblest, greatest, sacred, most divine, most precious, therefore important. So, when this is given, chosen by the Lord to us, let us engage in this with total wholeheartedness. Any other thing slowly should stop tempting us and receding away from our life. So, studying the Shastras, doing sadhana, then spreading the glory of the Shastras, that alone should become the order of our life. Weaning away from self created, delusion created, beautiful and realistic looking samsara, we ourselves have to get out of. In today's 2 minutes of thought, what we can discuss is mm, one thing is the learning the art of being everyday regular in our Shravana Swadhyaya Sadhana. Shravana is not less than Upanishad every day. Then Swadhyaya also is of the same Upanishadic Jnanam. Sadhana is trying to contemplate on this Upanishadic Jnanam so that any vagueness in the understanding, unclarity if it is there, is replaced by clarity and perfect understanding. Then trying to live up to that knowledge. This is the sadhana. And what troubles us in doing this sadhana is our upadhis. Buddhimana, they are the only ones which we use for samsara. While using so, samsara enters into us. And they are the only instruments again helpful when we go to the satsang, when we study Shastra independently, when we contemplate on the God. Now, these instruments, because of our ignorant behavior with them, they have become unruly or let us say unconducive for our true spiritual evolution. Sometimes they help, many a time they don't. So, in the sadhana, the necessary point is, necessary aspect is minding them also. About throughout the day, we are aware of that mana buddhi, and it is protected, kept ready, fit for the adhyatmika sadhana. It is not allowed to enter into anything beyond that point of, what to say, conditioning where we put on them, so that they are not going and getting spoiling themselves and creating difficulties in our sadhana. This art, which is very subtle to understand also, practice also, but necessity. I know. Else we are so good, so serious, sincere, but that won't help. No, we have to be practical. And in being practical, these instruments are, they play very pivotal role. But if they are not managed well, everything is good. Helmet is good, gloves are good, pads are good, shoulder protectors are good. सब ठीक ठाक है. If the bat is not good, है ना, it is broken, let us say, half broken इधर उधर, how can you play? है ना, in the युद्ध your sword is, उसको जंग लग गया, trusted, how can it be done? है ना, going to picnic, all set, eatables, vastus, everything taken, but the vehicle is not checked. It has so many problems in so many levels or ways. How can the journey be suhana there? No. In the same way, we have to be like that, careful regarding upadhis. Means throughout the day, upadhi samrakshana, using that upadhi for shravana, adhyayana, manana chintana, sadhana and dhyana. In this, we have to be relentless every day. Now, we have many other things also to do. Many of them can be avoided. Even after avoiding, some things are there to do. When we do them, again we forget that we are the sadhakas. So, what new thing we can add today is what? Every day, mindful of or being sadhaka and doing sadhana, and then whatever we have done yesterday, ability to remember it, and then putting a step forward, continuing from yesterday, that art we have to learn. Whether it is in studying and understanding Shastras, whether it is the effort to contemplate, meditate, or more importantly, whether it is doing those practices like the japa or the parayanas or the upasanas with which we were preparing our mana buddhi. So, till what level I reached in my japa yesterday? Little subtler than that yesterday, better than yesterday. If not, at least as much as I could do yesterday, so much I should try to do. तो एक तरीका है, जिस दिन का साधना उस दिन करो, छोड़ो भगवान के भरोसे. It also works. But another is what? Becoming conscious. So yesterday, when I was doing up to this level, I achieved. Achievement is never in achievement or success. Achievement is always in our effort. I could put this effort. Can I improve upon it today? You know, whether it is in any of the equipment preparation sadhanas or it is using the equipments for Shravana, Swadhyaya or Adhyanam, even the higher contemplation. So that way, remembering the yesterday's sadhana and taking forward at least those times of sadhana, because other time we may be engaged in the things of the world. So that extra thing of being aware of what is achieved yesterday, what is done yesterday, and then a step forward, then that today. In this conscious mood when we are, I think the sadhaka in us will be little more stronger also, little more committed also, little more effortful also, therefore little more successful also. It in while doing it practically, sometimes again because of mood or prarabdha, Today's mind's cooperation sometimes may be even worse than yesterday. That's why we said, in the achievement we don't focus, in the effort we focus. You know, the loving of that sadhana and becoming conscious of that sadhana and struggling, to bring the mind to ekagra bhumi, to make the mind shuddha. In the sense, other than spiritual thoughts, no other thoughts are entertained. It is a big struggle. How much ever in the present time we take cares of not involving with our mind and senses in the world, which is very tough job. Even if you do that, our all past memories, impressions of thousands of lives, they will chase us. And what time which vasana gets matured or fructified to express as the desire or the thought or disturbance in the mind, we can never say. Anything can come to a person who expects to be in the highest stage of sadhana. He can also be toppled by any very immature, meaningless, small little thought or idea or desire or project, any of the distraction. वो बोल नहीं सकते, वो ऐसा ही होता है. So keeping that in mind, guarding ourselves, deciding the hours of sadhana and the sadhana to be done, then adding our efforts to it compared to yesterday, going through whatever it is presented in our mind by the vasanas, and keeping the goal intact, remembered every day. Remembering the goal is very essential. Our Robho is reminding us of the goal every day. Our Upanishadic Adhyanam is reminding us of the goal every day. All the time that should be. It should become so clear in whatever the language you talk. Ki, I have to go beyond the Panchakosha Tadatmyam. I have to discover myself, isn't it? Or I have to see and realize that a truth, reality, which is beyond, behind the Nama Rupa at every level. Or I have to go beyond this entire Drishya, get established in my true Drashta Swarupa, isn't it? शास्त्रीय भाषा में I want to know, experience what is the meaning of Satyam Jnanam Anantam or Sat Chit Ananda or Aparoksha Brahma. Remembering those sentences, reminding ourselves of the goal to achieve. Keeping that in mind, when these cares are taken, the taking these cares itself proof that we are sincere in our sadhana so much. When we are careless about all these things, it proves that we are still not yet matured to be sincere sadhakas. We are just passing the time, okay, noble way, but only at that level. More things are, if we really come from within and reject and eliminate all the questions or the doubts or despairs, most importantly, the intellectual lethargies as well as the inferiority notions and complexes that I cannot do this, it will take so much time for me. If these negativities are replaced by the very aggressive positivity that in this very life, in that destined time, I shall, I will, I must come out of all commotions, I will fully establish in sadhya and sadhana. With this aggression, if somebody can do, there's nothing like that. They are the great parikshits, they are the great and nachiketas, they have full command over their own antakarana, not allowing even one negative thought or weakening emotion or any wrong notions which delay this process. You understand? In any sports, like as we say the cricket, the batsman can be very cautious about the bowler's length, line, and his attitude, and then defend for some time and squeezing some singles or some boundaries here and there. There will be another aggressive fellow. He just decided that's it. I will not miss my concentration today. I will not miss even one ball. Everything I will hit. And that is a surprising day that day, that it's everything is so wonderful. He just stands out to be the man of the match and all. He could have done that way every day, but every day he could not. Today he did it. Therefore, he achieved for himself team. Same way, in our sadhana kala, sometimes we can become so aggressive of suppressing or eliminating all those negative inferiority traits which pull us away from sadhana or weaken our sadhana or slow down our sadhana or delay our sadhana. They are very subtle inner enemies. I'm so old, I cannot do, or I'm not well, I cannot do, or I have so many things to do. Then only I do spirituality, but it is very difficult, I can't sit straight properly for sufficient time. I can't chant Sanskrit, or I don't remember anything of Vedanta. Now, each of these thoughts are nothing but demoralizing things. These enemies go without a recognition. Like within the country, those are doing big crimes, sometimes they are surfacing. But in every third fellow, there is a cheat who is somehow or the other cheating the people or the nation. But they go without being noticed. Isn't it? In the modern world, in everywhere, somehow they are doing झूठ बोलेंगे या corrupt होएंगे या excessively selfish होएंगे या कामचोर होएंगे. Who is recognizing them? They just go unnoticed. And the consequence is always the economy at the lower level only, peace at lower level, all that. Very tough to recognize them. You can't also even because oh jada hai फिर then they become what do you say, aggressive and then do nonsense. But every at least fourth or fifth person, something going wrong, something perfection nahi hai bas. He may be spoiling the atmosphere, he may be spoiling the peace, he may be breaking the laws. Isn't it? He may be some corrupt, he may be cheating others. Kuch to hai bhai, but it goes unnoticed. Same way in our own heart, all these negativities of procrastinations, the postponements, the delayings, they continuously are there, but we don't mind them. In fact, they are the big problems. Then some deep vasanas we have. Those vasanas just express and they go. I know at that time. Savasana to eat or some watching some TV or sleeping. वो बेचारे वो अपना effort करते हैं but some time only. But these negative weaknesses, immaturities, we can put it like that. They are the big ones. One can be very aggressive sometimes in defeating all of them. If some can be like that, like you can see in Puja Gurudev's case, he never cared his body's pulling down. He was very aggressive. By so much activeness and dynamism at the body level, he never considered the weakness of the body. It was weak, but he did not yield to it. Almost at the later age of 70s के बाद उनका, after his each lecture, he used to sweat and pant for some time. Because 1.5 hours he was so vigorously, aggressively, like a lion's roar, he used to give a lecture. You understand? So he has worked on himself to make it. Afterwards, ठीक है, थोड़ा rest देना है body को, because again next class I have to do. But at that time, he did. So too, the mind intellect can always say, अरे बहुत कर चुके हैं, अभी छोड़ दो. He says, what छोड़ दो? As long as I am in the body, the mind intellect has to work. That's it. He was the best example for aggressiveness, in which he just conquered all these pulling down aspects of the antakarana. Can the age factor, as we told, all sufficiently done it is, or it is not required, or it is not my responsibility, or others should help. इतने थॉट्स आकर ना अपने काम को रोक सकते हैं. He never allowed anyone else. In his outer work, I am saying. That's how we could do. We also, for our outer works, our inner sadhanas, if we can really recognize our weaknesses, demoralizing traits, and if we can ruthlessly reject them, and like a hero, become aggressive in doing the things, sadhanas will happen more quickly and results also come quickly. If we can do that, controlling the food aspect, controlling the extroverted involvement aspect, controlling the sleeping aspect, isn't it? Like this, other minds continuous projections, और थोड़ा रेस्ट लेंगे या क्या ना वो बस बिठाता है माइंड, कुछ करने नहीं देता साधना, बट दैट इट इज वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. Recognizing all of them, like a war, how that Israel has struck Gaza for those 2-3 weeks, कुछ भी छोड़ा नहीं. Aggressive, बस एक बंदा भी नहीं बच के रहना. It was terrible, when you see that bombing. A sadhaka also can do like that. Very aggressively bombing and destroying all his inner negativities. And then the positive sadhanas also equally aggressively done. It has always our notions of weaknesses, notions of inabilities, and then notions of failures, notions of, I'm not capable of that. These are the one just notions which pull us out away. We have to recognize them and we have to replace them. These are very higher things. अभी अभी नहीं समझ में आते हैं वो. As we grow, then when we are putting effort, struggling, when you don't succeed, that time when we lament, and along with lamenting, when we pause and contemplate, that time we will find these very subtle enemies. Then when they are eliminated, then and replaced with the positive ones, अब ऐसा है ना, ना देश का, ना काल का, ना कोई परिस्थितियों का, ना कोई उपाधियों का टेंशन होता है या कमजोरी होती है. We are just sadhakas. We will do our sadhana. Don't you see some people in this world? Equal problems they have like us, sometimes more than ours, but they do 10 times work more than us. So that Jiva from many lives has trained himself in this art of not allowing his inner weaknesses to pull him down. The weak thoughts, they are all. है कि नहीं? They have conquered. Beautiful. In army and all such very powerful departments, these things are unknowingly taught. Under the compulsions, under the fears, they are taught, but they learn. देखो ना सर्दी का, ना कोई गर्मी का, ना कोई फिजिकल प्रॉब्लम का केयर करते वो लोग. जो काम दिया बस लगे रहो. You may not be a meditator, you may not be a spiritual seeker, but if the boss summons, सुबह 4 बजे नहा के आ जाएगा बस ड्रेस पहनकर. What a beautiful thing. And we, with all spirituality studied, you can't give up some eatable which is causing damage to health. We can't give up some bhoga small little. Isn't it? That is a true training. This is how one has to slowly go on contemplating, finding all the ways and means to manage oneself to such a perfection that all the understood sadhanas to reach to the convinced siddhi is able to do. We have to be into that mode all the time. बस इसके अलावा और कुछ नहीं है ना. लाइक भक्ति में कुछ भी करो, बस लेट द लॉर्ड बी विथ यू, यू बी विद द लॉर्ड ऑल द टाइम. व्हाट डू मीन बाय कुछ भी करो? श्रवणम करो, कीर्तनम करो, स्मरणम करो, पाद सेवनम करो, अर्चनम करो, दास्यम करो, सख्यम करो, आत्मनिवेदनम करो, और उसमें सो मेनी अदर वेराइटीज, बट पुट योर सेल्फ इन द गार्ड. So to a Vedantin also, always in that mood of realizing the self, and for that meditation, for that meditational worthiness, for that preparing the equipments, both in the conviction about the goal with clarity, so to the preparation of them to be conducive for doing that sadhana. When we learn all these arts, then we are able to grow. May Guru Parampara, the Lord, who are already blessing us in this regard, make us realize all those blessings, use those blessings, and evolve ourselves and become an example to others also. Today, let us enjoy seeing Sri Vamadeva Rishi, how he has realized in the womb itself the Brahma Tattva, proved to us that if one is sincere, serious, consistent, at any moment, any place, any situation, he can come out of the womb of ignorance and deliver into the experience of the self. Very funny and vichitra is the example of Vamadeva. Generally, though, in the Garbha, the jivas are in a semi-conscious state. He is supposed to be because of the situation around. है ना, जब सब कुछ इतना गंदा होता है, बेशर बेटर सो जाओ. And the equipments are not that much evolved. Sometimes he becomes alert and awake and looks into the place around. It's very bad. Then again he goes to sleep. Generally, the jivas, in general, all of us in the womb. But he was not like that. He was so sharp, so alert. He just understood where is he, and he understood all his past lives. He at one go cut us under all the chains. Like that Shena, he just broke out the shackles of his Jiva Bhava itself, ignorance, then realize that he is the self. Garbhe eva shayana Vamadeva. So let us study that as per what Bhashyakara says. Let's see. Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rushibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhijaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarvalokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayinam Sutra Bhashya Kruta Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah. Shruti Smriti Purana Namalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Om Viditakhila Shastra Sudha Jarade Mahitopanishad Kathitartha Nidhe हृदये कलये विमलं शरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि. परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तब्रह्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः. इतरेय उपनिषदः आचार्येभ्यो नमः. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. सर्वेषां तेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्तब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधस्य अस्मिन् क्षणे एव अनुभवसिद्ध्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिकहैन्दवसंस्कृतेः शास्त्राणां समस्तसाधनानां प्रक्रियाणां पुनरुत्थानजागरण समस्तविश्वव्याप्ति द्वारा विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगति द्वारा विश्वशान्ति कल्याण एकता पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थं ये भक्ताः साधकाः सेवकाः शिष्याः स्वामिनः आचार्याः संस्थाः अस्माकं सह अस्मिन् धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये कङ्कणबद्धाः तेषां सर्वेषां पूर्णायुरारोग्यैश्वर्यक्षेमस्थैर्यधैर्यवीर्यादि शक्तिसम्पदा सानुकूल्यता साधनानां प्रेरणानाम् उत्साहानां सहित बाह्य अभ्यन्तर विघ्न शत्रु निर्मूलनद्वारा धर्म संस्थापन कार्ये दिग्विजयार्थम अनेक शास्त्राणाम अध्ययन साधना मध्ये ऋग्वेदांतर्गत ऐतरेय उपनिषदः पारायणम् आद्य शंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे. ओम मनस्तावदमशान्त्यै यस्य पादनखच्छटा शरदिन्दुनिभाभाति तं वन्दे नीलचिन्मणिम्. ओम अतः श्री ऋग्वेदांतर्गत ऐतरेयोपनिषत् शान्तिमन्त्रः. ओम वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य वाणीस्तश्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः. अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्ततामृतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवत्वतु मामवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। पारायणमथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः। थर्ड अध्याय we have to do. ॐ कोऽयमात्मेति वयमुपास्महे कतरः स आत्मा येन वा पश्यति येन वा शृणोति येन वा गन्धानाजिघ्रति येन वा वाचं व्याकरोति येन वा स्वादु च विजानाति यदेतत् हृदयं मनः च एतत् संज्ञानम् आज्ञानं विज्ञानं प्रज्ञानं मेधा दृष्टिः धृतिः मतिः मनीषा ज्योतिः स्मृतिः संकल्पः क्रतुः असुः कामः वशः इति सर्वाणि एव एतानि प्रज्ञानस्य नामधेयानि भवन्ति। एष ब्रह्म एष इन्द्रः एष प्रजापतिः एते सर्वे देवाः इमानि च पञ्चमहाभूतानि पृथिवी वायुराकाश आपो ज्योतिंषि इति एतानि इमानि च क्षुद्राणि मिश्राणि इव बीजानि इतराणि च अण्डजानि च जारुजानि च स्वेदजानि च उद्भिजानि च अश्वा गावः पुरुषाः अस्तिनः यत्किञ्च इदं प्राणिजङ्गमं जपदत्रि च यच्च स्थावरं सर्वं तत्प्रज्ञानेत्रं प्रज्ञाने प्रतिष्ठितं प्रज्ञानेत्रो लोकः प्रज्ञाप्रतिष्ठा प्रज्ञानं ब्रह्म स एतेन प्रज्ञेन आत्मना अस्मान् लोकात् उत्क्रम्य अमुष्मिन् स्वर्गे लोके सर्वान् कामान् आप्त्वा अमृतः समभवदिति ओम। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Let us do the fifth mantra again, chanting Taduktam Rushina Garbhenusan Anvesham Avedam Aham Devanam Janimani Vishwa Shatamma Pura Ayasihi Arakshan Adaha Sheno Javasa Niradiyam Iti Garbhe Eva Etat Shayanaha Vamadeva Evam Uvacha. Having done, having achieved, in the Garbha only the Vamadeva spoke. And somebody heard it and recorded only. What an important shloka it is. With regard to the content is concerned. Every shloka content only, but of this, the content, the way he goes about Vamadeva Rishi is very, very useful for us, necessary for us. So let us do it with the Bhashyam. Without Bhashya, we have seen it yesterday. Okay. Above in the Sambandha Bhashya, only one line just to put us in the continuity of the thought is ki Kathanchit means having gone through the samsara in this way of 3 janmas again and again, Kathanchit somehow, yada when Shruti Uktam Atmana Vijanati. Somehow when one recognizes the self which is indicated by the Shastras, Yasyam Kasyam Chid Avastayam, in whichever the Avastha is there, irrespective. Why we are repeating this thought is to say that outside or inside, whatever may be the Avasthas of the Upadhis and the experiences presented by the world, we can learn the art of ourselves, putting ourselves on the sadhana of contemplation, meditation on the self to the level of even realizing the self. That means what? We need not or should not or cannot wait that everything should end, then I do sadhana. ऐसा नहीं होता. साधना करते रहने से ही each of them get ended. So that is why then the problem is what? If you are not studying at all the Shastras, not understanding about the truth which liberates us, not convinced about it at all, then the data itself is not there with me regarding sadhana, then how can I claim myself to be sadhaka? When I am not sadhaka, then who am I? I'm left to? I am sansari only. This is the maya there. Understood? Many people bechare, they get an idea sometime. Somebody tells them, चलो सुनते हैं सत्संग. No, what they do? They no, अब बहुत बिजी हूँ मैं. वो सब होने के बाद मैं सत्संग में आऊँगा. I'll pursue. That is a moha. That is a maya. What is Moha Maya in that busy schedule in which we are there, because of which we are avoiding this rope or the support given to eject out of it, that will multiply. That will go on coming and it never ends only. And the desire to put an end to it, the effort to put an end to it comes to us only when we have discovered that higher goal in our life. And that comes only when you study Shastra daily and get convinced about the truth realization and create the sense of urgency for that, then only we'll be able to come out of it. No? That is a specific thing here. We just wanted to remind that yasyam kasyam chit avasthayam. Therefore, अवस्था जो भी चलने दो एक ट्रैक में, our sadhana we have to keep on doing. Suddenly the revelation happens and every of the Sanchita Karma, all of them, they just get burnt in a moment. Suddenly that windfall of the grace happens for a serious sincere seeker. It's not necessary that everything should get out to and then we start sadhana. ऐसा नहीं होता. While doing only they all go away. And sometime with one jerk of the experience of the self, one enlightenment or one revelation, the whole drama of the moha of the samsara, they can just get dropped. So what is the idea here? Yasyam kasyam chid avasthayam, the realization can happen. Therefore, yasyam kasyam chid avasthayam is going on outside, out of prarabdha. We have to keep on doing our sadhana. As I told you that same example, all the women, elderly, sit together and talk everything about that locality and gully and the people. But in their hands, there some work is going on. You see that in our childhood days we have seen. कपड़े धोने के लिए एक वहाँ जाते थे 1.5 किलोमीटर दूर, no water source. All of them will come. Washing they talk also. Isn't it? It happens in many other cases. है ना, घर में कोई ऐसे अचार बनाने का सीजन आया या पापड़ बनाने का, वो काम चल भी रहा है एंड दे आर टॉकिंग. It is not that let us talk, finish the talk and do the papad business, or let us finish the business and we talk. ऐसा नहीं है. They have the knack of doing this and doing that. Like what example I have to give you. Don't the wife and husband every day fight at home while doing their work also? He is preparing to go to office and fighting. She is cooking and fighting. She never says, let us finish the fighting and start cooking, or let me fight afterwards after the cooking. No, no, no. साथ में चलेगा. That is the meaning of yasyam kasyam chid avasthaya. This is another delusion that when everything is set, I do sadhana. No, if you do sadhana, things get settled. So, what are the two thoughts here? One is the self which is told in the Shastra, we have to realize it. Two, for doing that realization, experiencing it, sadhana has to be done continuously in whichever the avastha we are put. Third, because of this reason, in any of the avastha, irrespective of our outer condition, the flash of a realization can come. That is why, not that everybody gets the liberation only on the seat of meditation. किसी को चलते चलते, किसी को तैरते तैरते, किसी को काम करते, because at that moment was the paripakvata of all the sadhanas are done. So it got like any scientific discoveries. Not that it clicks only on the laboratory. It can click when he's eating food or even asleep. On the sleep में contemplate कर रहा है, suddenly it click हो गया. He went to lab and experimented. He's discovered it. Hope you are catching that point. What is it? Is focus is in our sadhana, all our outer situations, atmospheres, let them go on in their own way. That's what our introduction also today, taking Gurudev's example, we discussed about. And you do that also. How much or cold the winter is outside, you are on time to the class. That way. So, Shruti Uktam Atmanam Vijanati, when he experienced the self mentioned in the Shruti, Yasyam Kasyajit Avastaya, in whichever the Avastha outside is there, Tadayeva Mukta Sarva Samsara Bandhanaha. Then only is freed from all the bondage of becoming, called as samsara. That is called Krutakrityo Bhavati. He becomes Krutakritya. So, to show this, Shruti Mata is quoting what the Rishi Vamadeva said. Or Shruti Mata says about what Vamadeva achieved. So Taduktam Rushina. Rushina means by some other Rishi in his mantra about Vamadeva. And any Rishi speaking is the Shruti speaking only. So the Shruti speaking or Rishi speaking. Who spoke is secondary. The point is important. What is the point? Garbhenusan Anvesha. Being in the womb only, I did the inquiry. Avedam. I came to know. What I came to know? Avedam aham devanam janimani vishwa. So sarvani devan vishwa means sarve devanam, sarvesham devanam janimani. Of all other devatas also, their birth I analyzed and understood. It's a very indicative thought. Yesterday I said. मतलब क्या है? Whatever other than Parabrahma goals I had, I have observed the devatas who have reached to already those goals. I observed they also are in this Janma Varna problem. Therefore, I got the Vairagya. I don't want that. I want ultimate, where all these troubles are not there. Therefore, I analyzed myself. Like those devatas who are going up and down, I was also, because of my own karma and karma leading to karma phala, never allowed to realize myself, chained down and pulled down always, hundreds and thousands of times. That's the important thought. It is what he said, Shatam ma pura ayasihi. And such a pura of being in variety of dehas, I was chained with the iron chains. Harakshan adha, नीचे पकड़ के रख रहे, adha भी नीचे. Harakshan is binding. Now I have not allowed in this life in the womb. I didn't want to wait even to go out. So once I go out, आर दिन नाना नानी दादा दादी वो लोग फिर से मेरे को फंसाएंगे. What I did कि शेन जवसा निरदीयम है ना, I ejected out of these shackles of all the karma, karma bandhana, kamana, all of that, and entered into my experience of the self like a shenaha, sheno grudranam, like that eagle. I just now no more have any doubt regarding anything. I know what I am. I have realized. This is what only the Vamadevaji said. Garbhe eva etat shayanah Vamadeva. Etadevam uvacha garbhe shayanah eva Vamadeva. So, being in the Garbha only, that Vamadeva experienced the self and he proclaimed to the world कि मेरे को हो गया. साधना भी वही हुआ, सिद्धि भी वही हुआ. He has proclaimed from being there only. गर्भे एव शयानः एतदेवं वामदेव उवाच. And who noticed this, who registered it, or he only after coming out he said, all of that need not be worried, secondary results. But yasyam kasyanchit avasthayam, the meaning of that is this one. Okay. Now let us try to see what is in the Bhashya. Ki etad vastu means what is said above in the Sambandha Bhashya. That yasyam kasyanchit avasthayam Shruti Ukta Atmana Vijanati Chet Mukta Bhavati Sarabandhanat Krita Krityo Bhavati. Isn't it? This same thing, Etad Vastu means this topic or this thought, Tad Rushina. By that Rishi, Vamadeva, his name has come up. Many other may be there, but उनका नाम नहीं आता है ना. हर एक का नाम हर बार नहीं होता है. They might be achiever also. These are all very funny in the world. Sometimes कुछ थोड़ा ही काम किया उसका नाम आता है, बहुत काम किया उनका नाम नहीं आता. Never trust anything of this world in the form of news or reports. Focus on the main point. So here what it says, etad vastu, this thing, any avastha mein, by knowing the self indicated by the Shastra, one can get liberated. Etad vastu tad rushina, by that Rishi or Mantrenapi, and also by the Mantri, Uktam, Mantra, Uktam, it is said. Iti aha. This is what Shruti Mata is saying. So Shruti Mata says that this is how that Rishi has experienced and he has explained. Tad Uktam Rishina, that is the meaning of. Tad Uktam Rishina is the word in the main mantra, uska ye artha hai. Now, the mantra's Bhashya. No, Garbhenu means what? Matuhu Garbha Ashaya eva san. Being in that Garbhashaya of the mother itself. in the womb of the mother only. No iti vitarke. That no words means what? Very much being there only, which is a surprise. That's what we said. He did not wait. So let me come out, grow to some age of 8, 10. Then let me go to the Gurukula, get training, teaching from him. All of that not required. That is the meaning of vitarke. No, iti vitarka. Vitarka means rejecting all other possibilities. Being in the womb itself. That itself. ये वाला मीनिंग है उस नु शब्द का. Then vitarke. Now, one by one sentence. Very, very crucial it is. Every line here is worthy of underlining, worthy of understanding, worthy of digesting, grasping, worthy of living. So, what did Vamadeva do or say in the Garbha itself? Okay, one. Aneka Janmantara Bhavana Paripaka Vashat. Okay, Aneka Janmantara Bhavana Paripaka Vashat. Because of the sadhanas, bhavana here means sadhanas, which are done in many, many lives, not in one life. Aneka janmantara bhavana parvarashat, paripakavashat. What happened to him? Esham devanam, of these devatas. Which are they? Vag Agni Adinam. है ना? Vak Agni Adinam, the Vak Devata, that is Agni only, and other Devatas का भी Janimani means Janmani, births. Vishwaha means Vishwani. It should be Vishwani, but Chandasam, no problem. Vishwa, Vishwani. Vishwani means Sarvani. All the births of all Devatas, Avedam Aham. I have understood. I could even see the birth of the different devatas also. That capacities I got. Okay, because of my many, many janma sadhana. Now, please relate this with the first khanda, first chapter, the first two, three khandas. Please remember it. Relate it to that. Then the picture becomes a little more clear. Isn't it? When he thought of creating the world, Bhagavan, what did he do? He iksha kiya hai. Lokanu suja. He created lokas. Then let me create the lokapala. When he wanted to create the lokapala, then he from that Panchamahabhuta, predominantly water, he brought out the murti. Clear? Then that mitti or whatever, apaha, he gave a shape to it and then he did meditation on it. Then from each of the limbs first came out. From there, the devatas are born. So the Janimani of the devatas means that. Then were they free? No, they were thrown into samsara also. They were given hunger, etc. also. You understand? That is what you have to relate to this point of Vamadeva. Even Devata's Janma and its limitations also I have realized. They also are bound. More worst is what? Ki these devatas, when they were hungry, asked for the food. Food was given to them, but they could not consume only. And they had to beg the Lord, ki please give us the ayatanam to stay. How much they did that begging? Then he Bhagavan bought the ashramanayatu, gamanayatu. They are not fit for them. Then Manushya Sukrutam. Now, very interesting thing is what when the Manusha Ayatana made, Bhagavan had to order them, go and set yourself. And where? Only the limited places that are given to you. You know, the Surya Devata, who is Adhisthana for the Chakshu, he cannot be the ear or nose. The Digdevata of the ear cannot be in the eyes or mouth. The Vagdevata cannot be somewhere else. You understand the limitations of Devatas, their Janimani and their bondages and their compulsions and limitations, and they are forced to stay at one place like the slaves they have to work. You know, they have to go on empowering those stupid jivas, whatever they do. and like in my mouth, Vak Devata, Agni Devata. You will have to support whatever nonsense I speak. The Shakshu Devata, Dik Devata, sorry, ears. You will have to support me, whatever useless things I listen. So even through the like in the Aitareya Upanishad, by doing Bhurbhuvasvaha Vyahrati Upasana, Bhurityagno Pratidishtati, Bhuvariti Vayu, Svarityaditya, you remember? So even getting into the Agni, Vayu, Adityadi, Shariras, Devata Sharira, Devata Rupa, also is filled with so many conditions, limitations. Therefore, don't even seek that. Seek only one, the truth. That is the idea. So, O Vala Taittiriya mantra, Ye Vala the first Khanda, first chapter mantras, and what is said here. When you refer all of them, the idea will come. Means anything other than recognizing our own self is binding. This in Gita, Am Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha means Brahmadev se lekar any of the lokas when we reach through our various upasanas, yajnas, desires, tapasyas, punaravartinaha. They all because of karma chita loka, karma ends, they also end. Then from those higher pedestals, we fall back. Then is there anything highest having reached? There is no coming back. Mam ube tyatu kaunteya punaha janma na vidyate. But when you realize me, the real self, there is no again coming back. That is the meaning of yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. And then in all Mundakadi Upanishad, तो इतने मंत्र आए हैं about that state. So this Garbhe Eva, this has happened to Vamadeva. Suddenly it didn't happen. Aneka Purva Janma Arjita knowledge. So what led him to realization in the Garbha is consistent sadhana done in many earlier lives. So the focus is not on him realizing in the Garbha, though it's a surprising point. The focus is consistency in whatever the avastha we are put by our prarabdha. Continue doing your Atma Tattva Dhyana or Vichara. Focus is only one thing after listening this. Realizing the self, realizing the self. Like the Rubhu Gita, how powerfully it is hinting us every day. So, continuing this, कि अनेक जन्मांतर भावना परिपाकवशात येषाम देवानाम means वाक अग्नि आदीनाम जनिमानि means जन्मानि विश्वानि means सर्वाणि अवेदम अहम aho means he is surprised of his ability to know. It is also surprised of seeing their plight and misery also. Janimani aho anubuddhavan asmi ityartaha. I came to know. And even भाष्यकार also leaves it for our discretion. तो यहाँ से देखो वो अच्छे लगते हैं, बट वहां जाकर देखो they have their own plights and problems. You can see all these Rakshasas, how much trouble they do to Indriyadi Devatas also. Oh, Indra ko hi itna rulaya, what to talk about all other his assistant Devatas. So there is always fear there. So Vishwani Sarvani Avedam Aham Aho Anubuddhavan Asmi Ityartaha. So I know them and I know their birth and plight. Therefore, that position also I don't want. That is the idea. Then he says, so the next one. With that, the Vairagya has come that nothing other than Paramatma Tattva I have to achieve. Be clear. That is being substantiated now. Be careful. Kim Shatam means Anekaha means Bhakvyaha. Shatam means 100. 100 means many. Many means uncounted. What happened? Uncounted things. Ma means for me. Mam, mujhe. Mam, Puraha. The towns, the villages, the bodies. Ayasihi. Ayasi means Ayasyaha. Means Lohamatyaha. Made out of the chains of the iron. Ayas means iron. Iron word came from the Ayas Sanskrit word only. So Ayasihi, the iron chains. Iron is specifically, we can talk it about as the Tamo Gunke, non-thinking about the liberation realization. So these bodies, which are like the iron chains, in many lives of mine, I was tied down. So Shatam, Anekaha, Bhakvyaha, Ma means Mam, Puraha. Which Puras? Ayasihi, Ayasyaha, Lohamatyaha, Iva. What do you mean by Loha example? Ki Abhedyani, unbroken, breakable, Abhedyani, which we cannot break and come out of it. Sharirani iti abhiprayaha. So many shariras I was given, breaking which I could have not, I have never came out of. I could not come out of them. Here, breaking the sharira, coming out of it. Shariras are like the iron chains or iron made shariras. Idea is ki so strong I was in the dehata that I could never come out of. So in that you can put all the list. He himself also might have gone into devata shariras. वो सब भी याद आ रहा है, लेकिन वो भी एक आयरन ही चेन के समान थे। उस शरीर तादात्म को छोड़कर आत्म स्वरूप में जाने नहीं दिए। Like in our own life of this, from birth till now, how like an iron chain, our deha tadatmya is binding us, not allowing us to eject out of this identity and realize our own essential self. If you can think our own, then you get the idea of what Sri Vamadeva ji is saying. Think about it. Therefore, any punya karmas, any upasanas done, we may get the higher devata shariras, but they are also the iron chains only from the standpoint of total liberation. अगर उपासना पुण्य करके पाने वाले higher lives themselves are if they are shackles, what to talk about for the sake of artha and kama, doing all the papa and getting narakadi sharira? अब बताओ, think about it. That is the idea. So, sarvani avedam aham aho anubuddhavan asmityartah shatam anekaha bhafyaha mam purah ayasihi ayasyaha lohamatyaha iva avedyani sharirani iti abhiprayah. What did they do? The sharirani arakshan. Arakshan means rakshitavatyaha. They have protected me. Protection is a word here, not positively. You should take it negatively. What is the meaning of protection? Ki samsara pasha nirgamanatu. They have tied down me into the samsara pasha निर्गमन मतलब बाहर जाने से उन्होंने रोका, मुझे नीचे ही अधः पकड़ के रखा है. So samsara pasha nirgamanaat adaha arakshan. So nirgamana means exit. Samsara pasha is the from the tightened rope of the samsara, not allowing me to break open the tightened ropes and go out. They have not allowed me. They just tied down to me only to adaha, this lower life of identifying with various upadhis, whichever I was given in every life. Like that, hundreds and thousands of times it has happened. Be attentive. What it means? Millions of lives I got of millions of sharira. Every time that sharira tadatmya was like an iron chain which was binding me to the lower life, never allowed me to break open them and reach to the higher real self as indicated by the Upanishad or Shastra, that Aham Brahmasmi Anubhav. Okay. Then every life he was trying little by little, little by little, he was gathering that strength. है कि नहीं? जो जेल में डालते हैं ना कैदी को, तो वो थोड़ा 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 इफ ही जस्ट मेक्स ए he digs and makes a hole or any सुरंग from नीचे, he can go out. जेलर को नहीं बताया, मतलब उसको नहीं, किसी केयरफुली डूइंग इट, कवरिंग इट एवरी डे, they have done sometimes. In the same way, this Vamadevaji, every life he was gathering the strength to achieve the feat of, in one life, breaking these shackles of Dehadi Tadatmya and fly high into this self experience. You and I are doing our everyday class, listening them, and entertaining the thoughts of wanting to realize the self. All of them are preparations. But problem is what? Preparations can anytime be stopped. If you stop it, again everything is waste. Therefore, without stopping, when you go on that way, preparing ourselves, that gathers the strength for us. Which in any of the avastha, like in his case in the Garbha, for us in other place, very somewhere, that ejecting out of the shackles will happen. So, small little birds, when they are caged or tied in a jala, they will die helplessly. So, from that small little helpless bird dying in every body, he was adding strength to himself. Be attentive that now in this womb, he is no more in a small bird, he is a Shenaha, the big vulture, eagle. So, we are creating the vulture, eagle in us in place of a small little tiny bird. से मुंडकोपनिषद का छोटा पक्षी नहीं तैत्तिरीय का पंचकोश में पक्षी के समान बताते थे. So from that, in the Aitareya, we are becoming the Shenaha. So when you study the Upanishads and again contemplate about the realization of self, we are making the small bird into Shena in us in one life to eject out of the identity, realize the true self. That's how every attempt on the seat of meditation to realize the self, the seat of contemplation to get convinced about the self, seat of swadhyaya to study the self of the shastra, the seat in the class to listen about the tattva through shastra, all of them are making us prepared one day to break open the shackles of dehadi tadatmya and fly into the infinite self identification, real self, moksha. That's what we say 10 life, 20 life. It will take, but it will be giving us realization provided from now, which we have started when we don't give up. मैं मेरा आध्यात्मिक साधना परमात्मा को पाने का नहीं छोड़ना है मुझे. My own sankalpa, my prayer to the Lord, and my efforts. Being conscious in this way, in these three aspects, is being a sadhak. Telling to myself that I will not give up my sadhana. Telling to the God, oh Lord, put me in the path of sadhana to reach you. And accordingly doing my duty of coming to class, doing swadhyaya. These are the three things. When I do, I am a sadhaka, definitely destined. Like Vamadeva, in some or the other avastha, in some of the other life, we will be realized. Who knows, that can be this also. Then, Atha, now what happened? For so many lives, I was tied down by the samsara vasha bandhana. That is the meaning of the iron chains. That was the sharira tadatmyas every time, because entered to every sharira with so many of the kamanas, vasanas, bhogas. For that only that sharira was given, sharira was used. Especially the non-human bodies. Human body में आने के time कम से कम there's a chance to go to satsang, study shastra, add some samskaras about spirituality. बाकी में तो iron chain पक्का. Any animal kingdom में when we are born, birds kingdom when we are born, that is a totally living only for the body, dying only as the body. So shatam anekaha bhafyah mam mujhe purah ayasihi. So hundreds and hundreds of times, thousands of the thousands of times, the puras, the towns which are made of the iron, ayasihi lohamayah iva avedyani sharirani iti aviprayah. So many shariras I got made of the iron. Arakshan rakshitavatya. Everybody has what it is done. Samsara pasha nirgamanat adaha arakshan. Means they tied down and pulled me down, becoming like samsara pasha, not allowing me to become sadhaka and realize. Direct meaning of that is what? Every time we are born in any of the deha, only deha tadatma and living only for the deha, whole life is done only to die one day. Like that only I was going on, going on. Atha, now in this particular, now when I am in the womb of my mother, Shena iva, like this big eagle, vulture, jalam bhitva, breaking this jala of aham dehosmi, javasa, with full of the strength and energy and all that. Jalam javasa shena iva. शरीर में हूं ऐसे वाले शरीर तादात्म्य वाला जाल को जवसा with full of the strength shena iva like the lion or the tiger, that big bird, the powerful bird. क्योंकि जाल की बात हो रही है तो जाल में पक्षी फंसती है, सो पक्षी को जाल से उड़ना, इसलिए पक्षी का एग्जाम्पल. You can take the example like a lion or a tiger put in the cage. It has broken the cage and come out. है ना? बट पक्षी का क्या होता है ना, इट कैन फ्लाई इन द स्काई इन सच ए ह्यूज इनफाइनाइट प्लेस. Tiger can't fly, it's only in the jungle. Therefore, this example is more suitable of the vulture. So, Shena iva jalam bhitva, having broken the shackles, javasa with full strength. Where from the strength came to break open the shackle of aham dehosmi? Ki atma jnana krita samarthyena. The samarthata came to me to break away from the shackle of aham dehosmi is atma jnana krita samarthya. It came from the atma jnana, which I have thoroughly studied from the gurus, from the shastras, went on, contemplated, came to know that that alone is reality and that alone has to be identified. And for the sake of that, all the anatma vrittis, anatma sankalpas, anatma kamanas, anatma karma, all of them have given up. That is the meaning of atma jnana kruta samarthyam. With that atma jnana kruta samarthyena javasa niradiyam nirgatosmi. I just came out with that samarthata from the shackles of aham जीवोस्मि देहोस्मि बंधना. मैं आ गया बाहर. निर्गतोस्मि. I just came out now, the free bird. Nirgatah. One thing we have to learn here is what? Whether it is in the outer world also, when some police puts us in the jail, or in the spirituality, we are jailed in the Sura Sharira Tadatmya. Nobody puts us. We only, what we do makes us put. पुलिस वाले हर एक को पकड़ के जेल में नहीं डालते. जिसने क्राइम किया, जिसने क्राइम किया, the one, he is the one who is responsible for him to get into that jail where there is no freedom. Nobody made him. Same way, it is we only, we got into the jail of Sharira Tadatmya. And that person who is in the jail now, by learning from mistakes, rectifies himself, does very good seva, तो पहले ही उसको रिलीज करते हैं. And once he comes out, when he lives a good noble life, again he will not enter the jail. उसी के हाथ में सब कुछ. In the same way, spiritual jail of the dehadi tadatmya, we only with our own kamana, sankalpa, karma, forcing the Paramatma to push us into Deha Tadatmya jail. Like that jailer is forced by our crime to put us in the jail or by the judge. जज हमको जेल में क्यों डालते हैं? क्योंकि हमने ऐसा क्राइम किया. So to why Bhagavan is giving us again Deha entry, Deha Tadatmya? Because we are doing the life, living life only as Dehosmi wale. है ना? When we slowly in our sadhana stop all the nonsense which identifies with the self, Sharira, when we do, then we will not be put in the jail. We'll be released from inside. So, Atha Shena Iva Jalam Bhitva Javasa Atmanajnana Krita Samarthena Niradiyam Nirgatosmi. Oh, now the Shruti Mata says, Garbhe Eva Shayanaha. By being in the Garbha itself, Vamadeva Rishihi Evam Uvacha. The Vamadeva Rishi spoke like this, Etatu Uvacha Etatu. This word is spoken by being in the Garbha only by Vamadeva. And he has spoken or shouted it so loudly that the outsiders also have heard, they recorded it. बाहर आए नहीं मुक्तो हम करके. From inside he has shouted. His mother, father might have heard. See how mystical and how sublime are our Upanishads and the, which is the place in the world in which Shastras all this is given. Are we not so lucky to study? Okay. Then in the last sloka, like Vamadeva, whoever he has realized, and anybody who tries so, he will also get realized. So tomorrow, of this sloka and Bhashya, the summary for 5 minutes we will see. Then take up the sixth and last mantra of this particular second chapter and conclude it to start day after tomorrow, the third final chapter. And we are still have to study the introduction of this Upanishad in the beginning. So I may do it after the whole Upanishad is over. Those 10-12 pages are there. 2-3 class उसके लिए लगेंगे. Let us see that. Thank you. Om 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 Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramanusibhyo Parabrahmane Shruti Om Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu. Thank you, friends. Today's Gita Jayanti. Do some chantings. I don't know when will I get the time.